Hello, my name is Sylvester Nkongo, and I'm the author of the Job Getting Formula for Nurses. I want to present to you the most common and hard to notice resume mistakes that most people make. This is a very interesting presentation, as you realize. So I want you to stay with me for the next 5 minutes or so. I will walk you through some of the mistakes that most people make. And I've noticed such mistakes to an extent that I've given this type of resumes a name. I call them mediocre resumes. Why do I call them mediocre resumes? Simply because they are among the 95% or so, 95% of the majority of resumes that just seem to look alike. They have the same language, they have almost the same style, they talk about the same things, and it's hard for a hiring manager to distinguish amongst them. If you really want to make your resume stand out from the crowd, you need to first of all know what is wrong with your resume. I find it very interesting when I talk to people. I look at so many resumes, and when I talk to somebody that their resume is a mediocre one, they seem to get annoyed, and they seem to ask me to explain why. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this video, because I just really want to show you some of the hard to notice flaws found in most resumes, and maybe in your resume you might have this type of flaws. So let's take a look. Okay, so here is one resume from one of my students. This is her resume before we ever worked together. But in order to keep her identity intact, I've given a fictitious name, which is John Goodman. So this name here is just a fictitious name and an address that I've put here. But actually, this is like really how her resume looked like before we started working. So here you have several sections. The first section is the objective. Okay, it starts with seeking a registered nurse position to provide a safe and compassionate care for patients. Now, I want you to take note of this word here, seeking, because this word is found in most resumes that I've seen. So you have the objective section, you have certification. Again, what is wrong with the certification? Again, I'll explain to you. And you have the education section. What is wrong with that? I'll explain. But let me first of all tidy up this resume a bit, because the way it is, it's really like so choked up, so jam-packed, and it's not easy to read or easy to discern. So let me like put some space in there to make it look a little better. So I'll put another space here. So let me just try to tidy that up before we continue. So just a quick housekeeping on it first, so that you can see clearly while I explain. Yeah, there's another one here. Let me just put some sorry, yeah, again. Okay, I think it's getting a bit better now. Not better in terms of its quality. I'm just talking in terms of readership or readability. So let me go to the start and show you each item where the flaws are. Now, the first item is this phrase here: seeking a registered nurse position to provide a safe and compassionate care for patients. Now, though this seems quite good, because the candidate is saying that they want to provide something to the employer which is safe, compassionate, and compassionate care. That's a good idea, because from what I've realized, as you will see in another resume, most people don't talk about what they will offer the employer. They just talk about themselves. I'll come to that later on. But what I want to point out here is this word seeking. Now, when you're marketing yourself, you want to like present yourself in a completely different way from what the masses are doing. So whenever you say seeking a registered nurse position, it's like it's a stale script that has been recopied several times. It's like it's a statement that doesn't carry a lot of conviction. Somebody reading that and has seen that in several other resumes will think that you're just like saying something off the wall, something that you are not really sure about. So I want to point out that if you want to say something, try to be personal, try to be unique, try to say it like you're saying it from your heart. Don't just say it as if you just copied it from somewhere and you're putting it there. So the word seeking is not a good word because it has been used a lot. So and the phrase seeking a registered nurse position is not so good because it shows that you are just seeking a position, because the first part of the phrase, which is seeking a registered nurse position, it's like a repetitive phrase. It appears in so many registered nurse resumes. But as I said, this one is even better because at the end, which is the second part, which is this part here, the second part here says to provide a safe and compassionate care. Well, that's a little bit better. But when we come to how this resume can be transformed, and I'll also show you other resumes that have been really transformed to what I call the VIP reserved interview getting resume. But we'll talk about that in a different lesson. Today, I just want to show you some of the flaws. Now, the second flaw here is this certification here. So the person put certification, RN license number, California Board of Registered Nursing. Now, all of this is not very important, especially at the start of a resume, because every employer expects that at least the minimum thing you should have is an RN license, at least, and then with your BLS and ACLS. Those are minimum things. So you don't need to put them at the start of your resume. You need to put them maybe at the end. So that's another flaw. Now another flaw, as you can tell, is education. This is not where you have to put your education. Your education has to come down somewhere below. What you need to put up here is those things that will really separate you from the crowd, those things that the hiring managers are looking for. Now, they are not looking to check whether you have an RN license. That should come last, and that will always come last in their checklist. Now, the next part, which is a bit very, very tricky, is this part here called skills. Now, when it comes to skills, a lot of people get it a bit wrong. They try to look at skills as a series of words that you can put together to say something about you. Now, let us just take these examples here. So this person says skills, customer service abilities, including effective listening and excellent computer skills. That sounds interesting, right? But I can tell you that there are many other candidates who write something like customer service abilities, or good customer service skills, or effective listening skills. So there's a very likelihood that somebody will say, I have effective listening and excellent computer skills. So my question for you is, if you were a hiring manager and you have 2 resumes in front of you, or let me say 100 resumes in front of you, and one says I have effective listening skills, another one says I have excellent listening skills, another one says I have very good listening skills. Now, how would you separate them? Difficult, right? Extremely difficult. Now let's take this other bullet point here. This second one. It says critical thinking skills, decisive judgment, and ability to work with minimal supervision in a fast-paced environment. That's another one. Again, many people will say they have critical thinking skills, right? Many people will say that. Now, it is not really about saying it. It's really about how can you prove it? Because when you want to sell yourself, or when you are competing for a job, every single bit of information that helps to separate you from your competitors is very important. So if you put critical thinking skills and another person puts critical thinking skills, there is no way to separate you from that person. If you put decisive judgment, which is the second statement here, decisive judgment, another person puts decisive judgment, how can you explain that? How can you prove that? It just seems like it's a bunch of words put together. There is no proof. In other words, what I'm saying is, can't you say something different that shows that you have critical thinking skills? Let me take, for example, can't you point out a real job situation, or a situation, not even if you're not working, even if you are a new grad, can you point out a situation where you were doing like your clinicals, that you had a situation that you had to think through it in a critical manner? Like, put it like something happened, you took this type of thinking process, and in the course of describing that, the reader will see that this is critical thinking in action. So can you relate a situation that really occurred that proves that you have critical thinking skills, or you have decisive judgment? So as I will show you, you need to master what I call storytelling in order to show proof of skills. You need to know how to present your skills so that it's rather a proof than a bunch of words put together. So this is really like a bunch of words that anyone can put together to make a point, and a very weak point indeed. So I hope that's clear a bit, but I'll show you more examples as we get into the thing deeper. So let's take this other third point here. It says ability to maintain efficiency under high pressure circumstances. Ability to maintain efficiency under high pressure. Many people will say they can work under high pressure. I've seen that in so many resumes. So it's not so different. I need proof. I need you to show me a situation where there was high pressure and you had to survive. Show me, tell me the story. Give me some phrases. Show me when it happened, why it happened, what went wrong, how you survived the situation. With that illustrative example, I will understand that you have you can work efficiently under high pressure circumstances. So that's what I'm really talking about. But I will show you details when I start showing you what I call the VIP reserve interview getting resume. In our subsequent video lessons, you will understand why this is very important, and why trying to separate yourself from this type of standard resume will help you a lot. Now the next one is flexible and enthusiastic, and utilizes resources effectively and judiciously. How can you prove that? Again, the issue here is proof. If you cannot tell me a situation where you were flexible, how can I know you are flexible? Any jack can come up and say, I'm very flexible, I'm enthusiastic, but it is hard to prove it. And you know what? In this type of circumstances, when I'm looking at resumes, or when any hiring manager is looking at the resume, they are looking for proof. Without proof, you are not communicating. Nobody can be trusted in this world of ours. So I can't just see a bunch of words put together and I start trusting you. There should be some specifics that shows that this thing really occurred in the real world. It should sound in a way that it shows that it occurred. There should be examples, there should be stories, there should be incidents. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to communicate here. I hope you are getting the idea. So okay, now we are about to get into the most important part, which is the part of professional experience. This is one of the most important areas of any resume, especially if you have some experience. But it's really funny how many people miss this part. before you can be successful, especially in this really competitive job market today, to distinguish yourself with this path, you need to understand the real meaning of experience. How do you demonstrate experience? Now, there are several ways to demonstrate experience, and that's what I want to show you here. Experience brings several things. One, it brings knowledge, and when I talk about knowledge, I mean practical insights. Experience comes with lessons. Now, they can be bitter lessons, they can be sweet lessons, but experience comes with lessons. Experience comes after some mistakes have been made, and then we learn lessons, and then we now benefit from those lessons to do a good job. Experience comes with accomplishments, achievements. I mean, there are lots of things that experience comes with, but these are the key ones. As I said, it comes with lessons, it comes with accomplishments, and it comes with results. How would you prove that you have experience? How would you prove that you've developed some skills due to your experience? Because it's all about proof, as I said. And once you show proof, automatically you become unique. You position yourself in a unique way, because no two proofs can be the same. It's difficult. I mean, when I talk about authentic proof, when you talk about your experience, the lessons you've learned, the accomplishments you've had, the recommendations you've had, the testimonials you've had, the feedback you've got from working with your supervisor. There are so many ways to show experience, and those are some of the things you need to learn. But if I show you with this particular resume that none of those things have been portrayed here, then you start to see why I say this particular resume is a mediocre resume. Mediocre because from the word mediocre, it shows that it is what the average person does. Okay, when you want to be outstanding, when you want to get to a level where you can just clearly stand out to distinguish yourself from the crowd, from the 95% of mediocre resumes, you need to demonstrate experience. Okay, so from what I've just said, let's take a look at this experience section of this resume. It says provide high quality nursing care to residents of a 40-bed long-term care facility. Yeah, provide high quality care. How do you provide that? You've just said you provide high quality care. How do you provide that? Can you explain? What are some of the things you can say that shows that demonstrates, that proves the fact that you are providing high quality care? For example, how many medication errors have you mitigated? How many falls have you avoided? What lessons did you learn? What is the one most common cause of medication errors? You see where I'm going to? If you talk about the most common cause of medication errors, you'll be indirectly communicating the fact that you are experienced when it comes to dealing with medication errors. If you communicate several reasons why a patient falls, it would demonstrate that you have some experience. If you talk about a situation where a supervisor gave a positive comment about you because something happened, you took action, and it was good action, then you've demonstrated experience. If you talk about an accomplishment, for example, that you learn a bitter lessons from a medication error you made, and was corrected by a senior nurse, and from that time you've never made any medication error in 6 months or in the past 6 months. It shows that you've learned from your experience. It demonstrates experience. Again, it's a very tricky thing to do, but you need to be good at it in order to make yourself stand out from the crowd. So those are some of the things I'm talking about when it comes to demonstrating experience. If you read this resume, it continues by saying that use the nursing process for assessment, planning, implementation, and evaluation to provide safe therapeutic care. Yeah, every nurse should use the nursing process. So how are you different from any other nurse? Can you put into evidence of how you use the nursing process to save a life of a patient? Can you put in evidence how you did something outstanding following the nursing process? Can you talk about a story? Can you talk about a situation? The key word here is proof, because with proof you become unique. You portray yourself as a unique person, because no two stories can ever be the same. It's difficult. It's very rare for two stories to have the exact specifics and the exact details, and it's only through stories that we can see proof. We can have the feeling of proof. We can have the feeling that something really happened. We can have the feeling that you have some experience. So in my subsequent videos, I will show you how to demonstrate experience. I will show you why I have been able to develop a certain type of resumes that are really reserved. I call them the VIP reserved interview getting resumes. Resumes that get interviews like crazy because of the way they are being done, because of the way they stand out from the crowd, because of the way they pull the hiring manager into reading every bit of it and fascinates them. Now, let's go down to the next point in the experience section. Now I'll continue to do some housekeeping on this resume. So now this next point says work with mentally ill clients in a 78-bed mental health rehabilitation center. Yeah, and so what? The question is, and so what? If you work with mentally ill patients in a 78-bed mental health rehabilitation center, and so what? Were you just going there and standing there? What were you doing there? That shows that you are different from another nurse who works in another mental health rehabilitation center. What shows that you're different? Again, those are generics, and you can't sell yourself with generics. People buy things that are special. People hire candidates that are special. People hire candidates that can convince them that they have learned certain things from their experience, and from those lessons they can deliver quality healthcare services. So that's what I'm talking about. It's all about showing proof. It's all about convincing. It's all about making believe. How do you make somebody to believe that what you're saying is true? It's a whole science of its own. Dan Kennedy and another author wrote a book called Make Believe. It's all about how to make people believe. If you don't know this type of knowledge, you wouldn't be able to influence people. You wouldn't be able to influence hiring managers to call you for interviews. You wouldn't be able to persuade them to invite you for interviews. But if you can understand how to make people believe, how to influence people, how to persuade people, then you can have as many interviews as you want. And those are some of the skills I'll be showing you in my subsequent videos and in the rest of my job getting formula course. So in this first series of videos, the focus is on resume mistakes. So this is the first resume in the series. In the next video, I will take another resume and analyze it, and I will tell you the mistakes that are found in that same resume, so that you can see with several resumes how most of them are just like saying almost the same thing, and why you need to understand that, and how you can use that knowledge to step out of the crowd. So with that, I come to the end of this first video. Check out my next video. In my next video, I will take another resume, I will go through it, I will show you the mistakes, I will point out things to correct, and then from there the subsequent videos in this series will be showing you some of the techniques that you can use to enhance your resume. Hope this was very helpful to you. Thanks, and see you in the next video.